Welcome back to the deep dive. We take the source material you're all talking about, we cut through
Mhm.
the noise, and we give you the insights you need to be, truly well informed.
And today, wow, we are jumping into a source that is just, it's a masterclass in complex relationships. We're talking about that volatile reunion between two former best friends who are now, for all intents and purposes, mortal enemies.
That's right. And this isn't your average high school drama. It feels more like a deep, almost psychological study of how trauma, and we're talking about really hidden, buried trauma, explodes into conflict.
Exactly. So our mission today is to really unpack this thing. We're going to get into the relationship between Tate and Jared piece by piece. We'll look at their history, just the catastrophic miscommunication, and these incredible acts of defiance that somehow lead to reconciliation.
It's just so heavy from the very first page. You've got Tate, she's back from a year in France, and she has this laser focus on her future. It's all about her pre-med track, that all-important application to Columbia. She wants to leave the past behind so badly.
But you can't, can you? Not when the past is your next-door neighbor. Jared, who was once her closest friend, her confidant. He's now the one making her life a living hell.
And that's the central mystery of the whole thing, isn't it? What on earth happened that summer? How do you go from being inseparable? I mean, the source says he was there for her after her mom died. How do you go from that to this public-private war?
That unexplained shift is what drives everything. And I think to understand it, we have to start with Tate. We have to look at the armor she's wearing the second she steps back into that town.
Okay, let's do it. So, first section, the return and the first shots fired.
Yeah, let's start with who Tate is, fundamentally. She comes back almost militarized in her thinking, and that comes directly from her father.
Right. He gave her these core rules to live by. Respect, finish what you start, and the big one, solve your own problems. She knows if she messes up and loses his trust, that's it. No Columbia, no escape.
And you have to see those rules as more than just good parenting. They're a defense mechanism, a structural one. I mean, think about it. Her mother died of cancer 8 years ago. That's the ultimate chaotic, unsolvable problem.
So these rules control your environment, control yourself. It's how she survives that grief without just collapsing.
Precisely. It's her framework for survival.
And you can see this anxiety humming underneath everything she does. The source mentioned she likes to move fast, she runs, she drives fast. It's like constant motion is the only way she can find peace.
It's a coping mechanism, a physical one, and it's tied directly to what she calls her lifelines. These aren't just habit, they're her tools for self-preservation. She has to have an exit strategy at all times.
So running isn't just exercise, it's a psychological release. She's processing everything through movement because she can't or won't do it through, talking or being vulnerable.
Exactly. And we see that defense system get tested almost immediately. She's at Tori Beckman's party, a classic high school kickoff party.
And Tori does the responsible thing, right? She asks for everyone's car keys so no one drives drunk. But for Tate, that's a huge problem.
It's a huge problem because it's a complete loss of control. Handing over those keys means she's trapped. Her primary lifeline, her ability to escape at a moment's notice, is gone. And you can feel her irritation just radiating off the page.
It puts her on edge. Her whole system, built on her dad's training and her own grief, is immediately under threat. And then, of course, the source of that threat walks in.
Yeah, Jared. He shows up in the kitchen, and Tate's reaction is, it's not even emotional at first, it's physical.
It's totally visceral. The source says a knot tightens in her chest. She gets this cold sweat. And then she sees the look in his eyes.
I can't stand the fucking sight of you, so get off my planet look. It's just pure undiluted hatred, and that tells her everything she needs to know. The year away didn't fix anything, it was just a pause.
And Jared's presence is announced by more than just him. It's his car, a black Boss 302 Mustang. It's not just a car, it's a statement.
It's loud, it's aggressive, it's expensive. It's a symbol of his social dominance, and he uses it like a weapon.
He absolutely does. The source talks about him tearing into his driveway, the constant parties, the engines revving. It's auditory warfare.
It is, and it's designed specifically to needle her. Tate needs quiet. She needs structure to focus on her pre-med work. So what does he do? He creates a constant state of noise pollution. He's asserting control over her environment, even inside her own house.
And all that torment, it finally pushes her to a breaking point. She decides she can't be the old Tate anymore, the one who would just lie there and take it.
No, she's had enough. And this leads to this incredible calculated act of defiance, the circuit breaker incident.
This is a point of no return for her, isn't it?
Completely. And it's not a
Right.
crime of passion. This is premeditated. She goes to her dad's perfectly organized workbench, which is such a great detail, and takes his huge bolt cutters.
So she's already breaking her dad's rules, using his tools for this.
Oh, yeah. She grabs a padlock, sneaks next door through the hedge, finds the main circuit breaker for his house, flips it, and slaps her own padlock on the panel. Party's over. Permanently.
What's the feeling she gets in that moment? Because she's risking so much, her future, her dad's trust, all of it for this one act of revenge.
It's pure fear and pure exhilaration all at once. Her legs are like jelly, but she feels like she just gave him a metaphorical kick in the ass. The fear is about breaking the rules, but the exhilaration, that's about finally solving the problem, hurting the bully back.
She balanced the scales. For the first time, she feels like she has some power in this dynamic.
And the thrill she gets from that, especially when she sees him later just staring at her window. It's this dangerous mix of victory and, maybe a little bit of fear is what comes next.
And what comes next is that this one action totally changes the social dynamics at school. The ramifications are immediate.
Suddenly she's not invisible anymore. She says she feels like she's in a fishbowl. Everyone's talking about the rumble next door, and people are. They're taking sides.
Which is a huge shift. And some of them are siding with her. This attention is new, and it's especially weird when it comes from people like Ben Jameson.
Right, the star athlete, super popular, good guy, and he just gives her a simple welcome back, a totally normal, friendly gesture. But Tate's reaction is, it's not normal at all.
She can't accept it. Her first thought is that it's a trick, that Jared put him up to it to set her up for some kind of public humiliation.
And that paranoia tells you everything about the long-term effects of his bullying. He's so thoroughly poisoned her worldview that she can't even process a simple act of kindness. She assumes every interaction is a trap. Basic social trust is just gone for her.
This idea of his influence, how it just permeates everything. It leads to this really amazing metaphor the source uses to describe his social power, the magnet.
Oh, the magnet metaphor is perfect. It's such a brilliant way to explain high school power dynamics. She says Jared is like one side of a magnet that never flips over. He's a constant.
He just exists in this state of aggression and dominance, and everyone else is forced to align themselves in relation to him. So what makes that so powerful?
It creates a predictable social order. If you're someone who is drawn to power, or you just want to stay safe, you feel a pull toward him. You align with him. You become one of his cronies.
Or if you're her friend or you just can't stand him, you're forcefully pushed away.
Exactly. He creates the entire polarity of the room just by walking into it. You have to decide, consciously or not, where you stand in relation to Jared Trent. His social weight does all the work for him.
So he doesn't even have to actively manipulate everyone all the time. His presence, his reputation, it's like a force field.
It is. His own internal trauma is externalized as this social force field. And that's why her stunt with the circuit breaker was so jarring to him. It was a completely unpredictable attack on his stable, dominant system. It came from a direction he wasn't expecting.
And that unpredictable attack just guarantees that this is all going to escalate.
Oh, yeah. And we get this crucial bit of insight from Jared himself during a confrontation in the locker room. He basically tells her why he's not leaving her alone.
He says she's changed. She's not a dull target anymore who would just run away or cry. Now she has some fight.
And that admission is so key. It reframes the whole thing. It wasn't just about him wanting to feel powerful. He was bored. He needed engagement, even if it was negative. He literally says, if you take my party, then you'll have to entertain me.
So by fighting back, she actually made herself more interesting to him, more essential.
She did. The conflict stopped being about just hating her and started being about needing her to be an active player in his life, even if it was as his enemy.
And he doubles down on that need for engagement by forcing them together in class, the compass assignment.
Ugh, yeah. The teacher's trying to do this north and east partner thing,
Yeah.
and Jerry just waits. He doesn't pick a partner, and then he demands that Tate be his north.
It's such a power move. It's designed to make her as uncomfortable as possible. He turns a neutral academic setting into another battlefield.
And it works. The tension is so thick. The source even points out that she's so agitated, she starts carving his name into her paper and then into the desk without even realizing it. He's literally getting under her skin.
And that tension just builds and builds until it finally explodes. Tate delivers what might be the single cruelest line in the entire story.
She decides she's going to hurt him back, for real this time. And she knows exactly where to aim. She calls him a miserable piece of shit.
And then she goes for the jugular. She brings up his parents. Your dad left you. and your mom avoids you. She uses his deepest, most obvious wound against him.
She weaponizes his abandonment. And the source is so specific about his reaction. It says he flinched. He didn't yell. He didn't fight back immediately. He just flinched.
What does that flinch tell her? In that split second, what does she learn?
It tells her everything. It's the first time the mask has completely slipped. She hid something so real, so raw, that his body reacted before his brain could. She found the real person under the monster.
But her reaction to her own cruelty is just as telling, isn't it? She gets no satisfaction from it.
None at all. She feels sick. The source says her insides shake. She instantly regrets it. She has this moment of clarity where she thinks, this wasn't me. She realizes that to hurt him, she had to become just as cruel as he is.
And that's a huge moment for her character, right? Because her moral compass snaps right back into place. She recognizes the line she crossed.
Right. And while all this is happening, this intensely personal war, real life keeps intruding. And it complicates everything, especially with her best friend, Casey.
Casey's world just falls apart. She finds out her boyfriend, Liam, has been cheating on her for months. And she's not just heartbroken, she's terrified. She's worried about STDs. She is just completely vulnerable.
And guess who steps into that chaos? Jared. He's the one who tells Casey that Liam was cheating, and then he immediately swoops in to be her shoulder to cry on.
Which, from Tate's perspective, looks incredibly suspicious.
Of course it does. How can it not? Is he genuinely being a good guy, or is this the next phase of his plan? Turn her best friend against her by playing the hero. It's a brilliant, if twisted, strategy.
He's positioning himself as Casey's protector, which isolates Tate. Casey is betrayed and vulnerable, and here's Jared offering comfort. Tate's paranoia, which is completely justified by her history with him, just goes into overdrive.
She sees him succeeding, she sees Casey leaning on him, and it confirms her worst fear. He's systematically dismantling her support system.
But then the story gives us this one little crack in his armor, a moment where Tate sees something different. It's late, it's raining, and she hears his dog, Madman, yelping.
So she goes over, and the scene inside his house is just chaos. He's drunk, and the place is completely trashed. And this isn't just a messy room. This is destructive rage. He's taken his internal pain and turned it on his own environment.
But then she sees him with the dog, and the contrast is just stunning. He's kneeling, he's smiling, a genuine smile, and he just looks human.
Yeah. In that one moment, with the one creature in his life that offers unconditional love and can't betray him, he lets the mask down.
And that's when she sees it. He's shirtless, and she sees faded scars marring his skin on his back.
The first physical evidence. And they're faded, which means they're old. They predate this current fight. This immediately tells her that whatever's driving him is tied to something physical that happened in the past, around the time their friendship fell apart.
She asks him what happened, why the house is a wreck, and he just dismisses it. He mumbles something about the dog running away, which makes no sense because the dog is right there.
It's a total deflection. He can't or won't talk about the real source of his rage. He saves his vulnerability for the dog because the dog can't ask questions about the scars on his back. For Tate, though, that image is burned into her mind. The cold monster isn't just a monster anymore. He's a monster who's been hurt badly.
And that one glimpse of his pain is the final push she needs. She has to know why. Her focus on Columbia, on leaving it all behind, it's just not strong enough to fight her need to solve this mystery.
So she decides to break into his room.
And she uses the old route, right, the tree that connects their bedroom windows, the same way they used to sneak over for sleepovers as kids.
Which is so symbolic. She's literally taking the path of their shared innocent past to try and find the truth about their broken present. She's trying to get back to the Jared she used to know.
And what she finds in his room, it's a reflection of his internal state. Midnight blue walls, mess everywhere. All the nautical stuff his mom put up is gone, replaced with impersonal band posters.
He's erased any sign of maternal comfort. But the really chilling thing is what she finds when she looks through his old photos.
There are none of her.
Not a single one. He has systematically destroyed or removed every picture of them together from their childhood. It's a deliberate psychological erasure.
Why do that? Why go to that much trouble?
Because if the pictures exist, they challenge the narrative he's built for himself. The narrative where she's the enemy and his hatred is justified. If he kept the photos, he'd have to admit how much he lost, how much he once cared. Destroying them simplifies things. It makes his cruelty feel righteous.
But then she finds real evidence, not just the absence of things, but the presence of a whole other life. receipts from a town called Crest Hill, a court order for assault from right after she left for France.
And legal papers about an inheritance, a lake house.
Mm-hmm.
It paints this picture of a secret, violent life. The assault charge confirms his trauma was manifesting as physical aggression.
And then she finds the folder, the pictures of a boy named Jackson, covered in bruises.
And that's when Jared comes home and catches her. Her cover story is it's pathetic, something about a late birthday wish. But it doesn't matter because the evidence is right there. The pictures of Jackson are out. He can't deny it anymore.
So he finally confesses. He tells her about that summer before freshman year.
And this is the key to everything. He was sent to live with his father and his stepbrother, Jackson, in Crest Hill. And it was a nightmare. His dad was physically abusive, not just to him, but to Jackson, kicking him, leaving those bruises. And Jackson was already caught up in this criminal life, breaking into houses, delivering drugs.
And Jared was pulled into it.
He was. His dad started hitting him when he refused to help with the jobs. The source mentions a belt with a buckle. That's where the faded scars came from. He was being beaten for resisting this life of crime.
But it wasn't just his dad, was it? The betrayal was deeper than that.
So much deeper. Because he tried to get out. He called his mom begging for help, begging her to come get him. And she was drunk. She refused. She said Jackson wasn't her problem. She abandoned him there.
So both of his parents, the two people who should have protected him, just let him down in the most profound way possible.
He was left feeling completely alone, abandoned, and in physical pain. And that brings us to the moment it all turned, the origin of his hatred for Tate.
Let's really break this down because this is the emotional core of the whole story.
When he finally gets home, broken and traumatized, the first thing he does is look for Tate. But he doesn't find her at her house. He finds her at the local park, at the fish pond. And she's with her dad and with his mom.
His mom, the same mom who just refused to save him.
Exactly. And to him, they look like the happy, sweet family, and that sight just shatters him.
It's the ultimate injustice.
It is. He's just come from this hellscape of abuse and crime, literally carrying scars on his back, and there she is, living this idyllic life. Her dad is present and caring, and his own mother is there, laughing, acting like a normal, loving parent with her. He felt like while he was being beaten, she was having a picnic with the mother he was supposed to have.
So Tate became the symbol of everything he'd lost.
She became the target, the safe target. He couldn't lash out at his dad. He still desperately craved love from his mom. But Tate, she was right there. She was accessible. And she represented the safety and innocence that had been stolen from him. So he funneled all of that pain, all of that rage directly at her.
And he admits it was a conscious choice, a coping mechanism.
He says it outright. When I hated you, it made me feel better. The hate was functional. It kept him from completely falling apart. He even admits he knew it wasn't her fault, but he couldn't stop because he needed the hate to survive. His apology is so raw, he just says, I didn't want to hurt you.
It's the moment the whole facade just crumbles. And that clay necklace that just ties it all together, doesn't it?
Oh, the necklace is the perfect symbol for his entire conflict. She made it for her mom, left it at her grave. And he admits he went back later and stole it.
Why?
He says he didn't want the weather to ruin it. He kept it. He kept this physical piece of her deepest emotional connection to her mother. Publicly, he's destroying her. Privately, he's protecting her most sacred memory.
So the bond was never really gone. It was just buried under all that pain.
Exactly. It shows that he was clinging to a piece of their shared past, a piece of the good Jared, the entire time he was playing the monster.
And just when you think they've finally broken through, that this confession will lead to healing, the story delivers the final, most devastating blow.
It's just brutal. A private video of them having sex after homecoming gets sent out to what seems like the entire school.
And the message that comes with it from Jared's phone number says, she was a great fuck. Who wants her next? It's designed for maximum humiliation. It's meant to ruin her.
And Tate's reaction is just total collapse. She can't breathe. She's dry sobbing. She sees it on everyone's phones. Her life, as she knows it, is over.
And all that fragile trust they just built, it's gone. She's convinced the confession, that I love you, all of it was just a long con, a fucking lie to set her up for this.
That feeling of ultimate betrayal, of being completely powerless, it pushes her to do something drastic. She needs to get the power back.
So she goes for his car, the Boss 302.
She grabs a crowbar from her dad's Bronco and just goes to town on it. The windshield, the hood, the doors, she's transferring all of her emotional pain into physical destruction. She's hurting the symbol of his power and dominance.
And she has that moment of self-awareness, right? The voice in her head says, this is how bullies are made.
Yeah, she recognizes the cycle she's stepping into,
Hmm.
but she pushes it away. She justifies it as self-defense. And after she's done, she can't go home. She needs a sanctuary.
So she goes to her mother's grave, the one place that used to scare her, but that the young Jared helped her feel safe in. She's seeking comfort from the memory of the boy he used to be.
Which is exactly why he knows where to find her. He shows up, and he swears he didn't send the video. He says his phone had been missing for days, since Tori's party.
And even though she doesn't trust him, something clicks. She remembers his mom.
Catherine.
Hmm.
She remembers that his mom put a GPS tracking app on his phone because he was always losing it. Technology to the rescue.
They call his mom, she tracks the phone, and it's in a locker at school. Locker 1622.
They race to the school, Tate calls the phone, and they hear it ringing from inside the locker. And when the bell rings and the halls fill up, they see who goes to that locker. Madoc.
His supposed best friend.
His henchman. The betrayal came from inside his own circle. Madoc was trying to sabotage any chance of them getting back together, probably to keep Jared as the angry, destructive leader of their group.
And just like that, the truth is out. And in an instant, they go from enemies to partners. They start working together to get the video taken down.
At the same time, Tate's dad comes home early from a trip to Germany to support her. He's clearly uncomfortable with Jared's new role in her life, but he doesn't ban him. He just sets boundaries. He wants her to stay focused on Colombia.
And then Tate does something really profound. She takes the trust fund money her mother left her, and she pays to fix Jared's car.
It's such a powerful gesture. Her dad makes her get a job to pay the money back, so it's not a free pass. But she's using the money connected to her deepest source of grief to repair the damage she caused to his symbol of power. It's a full acceptance of her own role in the destruction.
It's a financial commitment to healing their relationship. Which brings us to the very end, to the final symbol of trust.
The bracelet. Jared gives her a bracelet with 4 charms. A cell phone, a key, a coin, and a heart.
They're her lifelines.
They're her lifelines. He's acknowledging her deepest need for safety and control. The cell phone for communication, the key for escape, the coin for, value and trust. And the heart is him.
He's offering to be one of her lifelines.
He says it. I want to be one of your lifelines, Tate. I want you to need me. It's a complete reversal. From the source of her torment to a promised source of her safety. It's a monumental shift.
What an incredible, tangled story. At the end of the day, this whole deep dive really shows how unresolved trauma, his abuse, her mother's death, can just fester and manifest as this intense, destructive conflict.
Absolutely. And it's a brutal lesson in the cost of miscommunication. If he had just told her what happened to him that summer, years of pain could have been avoided. But his trauma made that impossible, and her need for self-preservation kept her from digging for the truth.
So for you listening, what are the big takeaways here? I think for me, first, it's seeing that cycle of bullying so clearly. Tate feels powerless after the video, so what does she do? She becomes the aggressor. She destroys the car. It shows how easily a victim can adopt the tactics of their abuser just to feel safe.
And second, it's just so important to see how external triggers can fuel a rage that seems completely out of proportion. Jared's anger wasn't really about Tate. It was about what she represented. The happy family, the safety he was denied. She was just the most convenient place for him to put all that pain.
And finally, you have to look at the role of these symbolic objects. When words fail, and they failed spectacularly here, these objects did the talking. The necklace showed his hidden connection. The tree was their path to their shared past. And the bracelet, well, that was the promise of a new future.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? The source seems to suggest that for some people, toxicity and this kind of intense connection are just two sides of the same coin, especially when there's trauma involved.
Which leads to a pretty provocative final thought, I think. If Jared's path back to trusting someone had to start with him needing to hate her, what does that say about our ability to turn pain into these incredibly profound, even if they're twisted at first, bonds?
Right. Is it possible that for some people, destructive conflict is the only way they know how to forge intimacy? Because they've been so fundamentally betrayed by love in its purest form.
It makes you wonder if that shared trauma creates a bond that is, in the end, unbreakable, even if it has to go through hell to get there. Definitely something to think about long after this deep dive is over. Thank you for joining us.
We'll see you next time.